Thank you. All right, my name is Ronnie Sidney. I'm from Tappahannock, Virginia. You all may have heard of it because Chris Brown's from there. He actually rode my school bus for a while. I'm here tonight because I did write a children's book. It's called Nelson Beats the Odds. And the book is about my experience from third grade on up. In third grade, I was placed in special education. I was diagnosed with a learning disability and also ADHD. And I stayed in special ed until 9th grade. This event happened, and if I do the book reading, you'll find out a little bit more about it. But an event happened where special education was preventing me from doing the things that I wanted to do. It was placing me in a situation where I wasn't getting any classes that I needed to go to college. I wasn't able to choose the classes I wanted to take. I was actually placed in exclusion, which is all of my classes was in special education except for the electives. And I really got emotional about it, and I had to get my parents to advocate and to get me out of special education. So I wrote my book about my experience being in special education, about my experience being a black and brown child, because our experience is a little different than some other cultures. The experience of being hyperactive, not sitting still, not listening to teachers. Teachers move me to the front of the class, to the back of the class, and eventually outside of the class. So I talk about all of that because it's a story that needs to be told, because a lot of our kids, particularly our boys, black and brown, Hispanic and blacks, are falling behind in school, are struggling in school, and no one seems to have any answers on what to do. So my book is just it's more of an empathy book. It's a book for parents to read, for teachers to read, and for kids to read and be inspired to know that they can beat the odds. In 2014, I graduated with my master's degree in social work. So, you know, I had a learning disability, I had ADHD, and I overcame it. And it wasn't all me, it was my parents. I had really supportive parents. I also had a special education teacher who was really supportive, who encouraged me, to let me know that I was smart and that I wasn't learning disabled. But there was a few things I needed to work on in order to get to the point where I needed to go in order to get to college. So I'll be around doing some reading later on. I have some books for sale. If you all want to purchase a copy, it's $15. I also have a free app, have a lot of free resources, because I understand times are tough. Not everybody can have $15 in their pocket. So I have some free resources on my website that you can check out, a free app. This is my first book. I never even thought I'd write a book. But, you know, I knew that our kids, I have 2 kids myself, they needed some books with their faces on the cover. They needed some books with black and brown kids, Hispanic kids, kids of all different races represented and known that they can beat the odds and they are great and beautiful too. So I'm going to turn it back over to Mrs. Freeman, and I will talk to you all a little bit later. You in the front is better because you're close to me, right? You give me high fives and all that good stuff, right? All right. I promise I'll save some more high fives. I'll save my high fives. All right, guys. All right. Oh, well, thanks for that. All right, so if you want to, hey guys, if you want to come to the front, there's a little bit more room. So come to the front, you can sit down. Put one finger like this, put one finger in the air. All right, now put that one finger in front of your mouth, okay? Let's try that. All right. I want to read to you all tonight. This book is about me. It's a book that I wrote about myself. So, how many 5th graders do we have in the room? 18. We got 18 5th graders in the room. So, I wrote this book about when I was in the 5th grade. So, when I was in... Remember what I said about the one finger? So if you see someone beside you talking, can you just tell them to shh? Good job, good job. All right. So my book is called what? Who can read this? Nelson Beats the Odds. So can I get everyone to say Nelson Beats the Odds? Good job, good job. So how many of you all love reading? Wow, that's a lot of kids. You all love reading. When I was your age, I like to read books too, but I like to read books with some really cool pictures in them. So when I wrote my book, I made sure it had really, really cool pictures in it. So this is me, Nelson. My middle name is Nelson. My first name is Ronnie, but my middle name is the back of your book, you talk about all of the wonderful things you've accomplished. Like if you went to the NFL, you would say, I was an NFL football player. Or if you want to be a doctor, you can say, I was a doctor, a social worker, which is like a counselor. Do you have a counselor at your school? Or a race car driver?
I want to be a football.
A football player? What do you want to be? You want to be a model? You're beautiful. I think you can do that. What do you want to be? A doctor. You're going to do that.
I want to be a football player. National, international football.
Get it, man. Get it. You got it. Follow your dreams. This book is all about following your dreams and beating the odds. Okay? So I'm going to start, all right? How about that? How does that sound?
Yes.
Okay. So in this book, I'm going to ask you all to do some things. It's going to be fun. But when I raise my hand, that means it's time to stop. So when I raise my hand, what does that mean?
Stop.
Okay. Oh, it's a long process. You probably need all night to go through the whole process. But if we got some time, then I may tell you some of the secrets. All morning? There's no such thing as night?
Yeah.
We got to talk about that. All right. So here's my book. I'm going to read. So Nelson was off to a rocky start at Bland Middle School. What kind of, is it Bradbury? So Nelson's going to be at Bradbury Elementary School. Is that fine?
Yeah.
So Nelson was off to a rocky start at Bradbury Elementary School. Mrs. Gronkowski, Nelson's teacher, caught him playing with his friend Carlos during class. Miss Gronkowski asked Nelson to move his desk to the front of the class, then to the back of the class, and eventually outside of the class. I've had enough of your antics, young man. I'm going to call your parents. No matter where Nelson moved his desk, he found someone to talk to. Nelson was in big, big trouble, and all he could hear was his mother's voice yelling, I sent you to school to learn, not play. Any parents ever say this to the kids? All the time? All right, so Nelson would often become disinterested in class. While Mrs. Gronkowski stood at the board teaching, Nelson's mind wandered out of the school walls into La La Land. Nelson sat and daydreamed about playing basketball with his buddy Anthony. All right, guys, so I want you to do one thing for me. I want you to raise one hand, and I want you to act like you're slam dunking a basketball. So show me how y'all slam dunk a basketball. Good. All right, so I'm raising my hand, so that means we need to what? We need to stop, right? Okay. No, but I do daydream a lot. Sometimes about basketball, sometimes about... Do we have any Washington Redskins fans in here? Yeah. Watch the Redskins. Roll this. All right, one hand up. So everybody put your hand up. So when the hand is raised, you need to do what? Stop talking. Good. So when Nelson went to hand in his work, Mrs. Gronkowski said, "I can't read this chicken scratch," and put a big, fat, red F on it. "Maybe you need to learn how to read then." The class erupted in laughter. Mrs. Gronkowski's face turned redder than a fire truck and she screamed, "Go to the office, now!" So let's try that again. All right, hold on, we're gonna try that again. Mrs. Gronkowski's face turned redder than a fire truck and she screamed, All right, y'all blowing my eardrums out. Hold on, raise your hand. We'll bring it back down, okay? Mrs. Gronkowski set up a meeting with Nelson's parents the next day and told them, "I think your son has ADHD and a learning disability. I recommend that Nelson be placed on medication and in special education." Nelson's parents refused to put him on medication, but they thought the special education would help him reach his maximum ability. "There's nothing wrong with you, baby. You just need some extra help." "It's not fair. I won't be in class with my friends and everyone will think I'm slow." "You're not slow. I've always told you that you were smart. Your dad and I just want the best for you, and the school thinks the program will help." So what I want you to do right now is, everyone who thinks that they're smart, raise your hand. I don't see enough hands up. Everyone who knows that they are smart, raise your hand. Good. Everyone should have their hands raised because you all are smart and you all are gifted. But now I have my hand raised, so what does that mean? You know you smart too. What's your name? Toby's smart. What's your name? Jaden's smart. Justin's smart. All of you all are smart. Cynthia, you smart too. All right, put your hands up. Hands up. Tell the person next to you if they're talking. While Nelson was on his way to a special education class, Carlos asked, "Hey Nelson, where are you going?" "I'm going to the bathroom." "Isn't the bathroom that way?" "I'm going to the other bathroom. See you later." Nelson sneaked to his special education class like a ninja. He didn't want anyone to know that he was in special ed because they would tease him. So when I was in special education, boys and girls, I didn't want anyone to see me in class. So I used to hide around and sneak there like a ninja. So what I want you all to do is, where you're sitting at, I want you to act like you're a ninja. But don't stand up. Where you're sitting at, I want you to act like you're a ninja. So I want you to go like this. Well, I didn't say, we weren't doing karate though. We were just sneaking around. That's good. All right, so what are we doing? We're stopping, right? And we're coming back and focusing back on the book. Teacher, Mrs. T. So I want you all to help me say this, okay? So I want you to say, "If you can believe it."
You can do it.
Hold on, so I want you all to say, "If you can believe it." So I want you all to say this, "If you can believe it." So
If you can believe it.
there you go. So these two young ladies will help me. So if you can what? So say, you can achieve it. All right, so I want to do this. We're going to take it back to hip hop. So I want this side of the room to say, "If you can believe it." So half of the room, I'm going to split the room in half. So I need you all to pay attention real quick. So I'm going to split the room in half. So I want this side of the room to say, "If you can believe it." And I want this side of the room to say, "You can achieve it." So when I do it, whichever side is the loudest is going to win this competition. So I need you all to be as loud as you can. All right? Hold on. All right. So this side is going to go first. Good job. You all give him a round of applause. Okay, let's do it. All right, go sit down. All right. All right. So what are we going to do, guys? What are we going to do? Hold on. Hey, if the person beside you is not paying attention and is talking. Hey guys, hey. Hey guys, tighten up. All right. Mrs. T was there for Nelson at a time when he felt really small and needed someone to help make him feel really big. You can do it. Nelson began believing in himself and gained the confidence and skills he needed to push the boundaries and discover his potential and growth. So I want you all to raise your hand and say, I know. So when you all go to school tomorrow and the teacher puts something on the board that you know, I want you to raise your hand first, okay? And I want you to say, I know, and then you give the right answer. After 1 year in special education, Nelson's grades and organizational skills improved significantly. It was his last week in middle school, and Mrs. Johnson, the high school guidance counselor, came over to help students sign up for classes. Hold on, guys. Can we put the hand up in the air? All right, talk to your next door neighbor and say, shh. Nelson and his best friends, Tamika and Carlos, signed up for classes and crossed their fingers, hoping they would be in class together next year. So I want you all to cross your fingers. Cross your fingers. Good job. I can't wait to get in high school and take classes with my friends. You want me to skip a page? I'm almost done. No skipping. When you read a book, you never skip a page because you might miss all the magic. So never skip your page. A fresh start. On Nelson's first day at Bland High School, he was thrilled to be in class with Tamika and Carlos. But moments later, the loudspeaker sounded. Nelson was called out of class. His first thought was that he was in trouble. Nelson was relieved that he wasn't in trouble, but looked suspiciously at Miss Johnson as she handed him a new schedule. 3 special education classes. Nelson was taken out of the classes with his friends and placed back in special education. Okay. All right, so we'll read 2 more pages, okay? When Nelson got home, his mother saw him crying. What's wrong? Why did they put me back in special ed? You said I was smart. I hate that school and I'm never going back. Ooh, so when Nelson was put in special education class for 3 classes, he was really upset because he wanted to be in class with who? Tamika and who? Who's the other kid's name? Who said Carlos? You earned a sticker. So, in this book, so what was in, actually, let me get some stickers. Can someone go give me the stickers from the table? Because I'm going to do a little quiz, okay? Do you have a dad named Carlos? All right, so I'm going to ask 3 questions, okay? I want to see who has the answer. But if you have the book, you can't answer because they'll be cheating. All right, so, what was one of Nelson's teachers' name? You got to raise your hand. What was one of the teachers' name? No, that was Nelson. What was the teacher's name? Nelson's teacher name. Miss starts with a G. Mrs. Huh? Mrs. T. Good job, man. Y'all give him a round of applause. All right, so the next question is, what did Nelson sneak around as because he didn't want to go to special education class? She raised her hand first. A ninja. Y'all give her a round of applause. Last question. All right. Hey, if you're not sitting on your bottom, I'm not even going to call on you. And you have to be raising your hand. You got to be sitting on your bottom. Sit on your bottom. Sit on your bottom. All right. So, put your hands down. I haven't even asked the question. How you going to answer this? You got to put your hands down. Well, I can't call on you. All right. So, what sport was being played in the book and he was slam dunking? I think. All right. So, what I want you all to do now is I want you to raise your hand. And I want you to pat yourself on your back for being such a great audience. All right? Thank you all for your time. And we're going to do a raffle. So you all are going to be able to win some fun prizes. You have some snacks over there.
Thank you so much. How did you like this?